Hello there. My name is Antara and I work with Solutions IQ, world's largest agile consulting company. Today I have with me Mr. Arun Jayaraman, who spoke recently at the Business Agility Roadshow in Hyderabad on a beautiful day of 22nd April. It was a great Saturday, but a full hall with loads of people completely engaged, and Arun was one of the reasons why people were engaged. So we thought that we would get Arun on a video and get him to speak a little about what he spoke about. So Arun, why don't we start with about yourself? Who are you?
Hello, everybody. As Antara introduced me, my name is Arun Jayaraman. I'm a agile consultant at Solutions IQ. I have over about 19, 20 years of IT industry experience and about 7, 8 years of agile experience. I'm an agile practitioner for about 7, 8 years. That's a little bit brief about myself.
Great. So, Arun, you spoke about an interesting topic called less is more. So, let's hear what do you mean by that?
So in today's world, it existed in the previous days as well, but the complexity or the sense of urgency has increased. A lot of product companies have to do a lot of stuff that the customers is asking for, but every organization has only limited amount of money to get it all accomplished. My talk was about how we could change the ways we are working so that we could accomplish that goal. So that's why the topic meant doing more with less. When I say more, you're delivering more value to the end customer or to the organization with the same number of teams or less number of teams. That was the thought process behind the talk.
So tell us about a bit of the science about this philosophy not working, or the organization given is not working with that philosophy of less is more.
Yeah, so let's talk with the agility journey for as a start. We started the transformations were started for many reasons. Uh, I personally feel they are started for three reasons: fast to market, responding to change, and then higher quality. So these three are some of the reasons I that rhyme to me. So when you see a lot of transformation, some are past, some are successful, some are not successful. So we'll stay with the organization that are successful. They have achieved all these goals. So what next? Are they really successful? So to look at this data, as part of the talk, I presented a survey from industry known people, which showed by industry, somewhere between an average of 30 to 45% of the new products launched actually failed. They did everything right. They were agile, and then they're responding to change. They are faster to market, and then they had good quality, product good quality, but they still failed. The end goal of an organization is not to be agile. The end goal of any organization is to make money. For them to make money, the products have to be successful. That is the end goal. So that is where I was coming from. So how could we reduce this product failure rate? So we are not going to bring it down to zero, but we can move the needle. So maybe bring it down to 20%, maybe 15%, but we can keep continuously working at it. My thought process, the concept as I explained it was, in today's ways of working, how most companies do product development is, there are customer problems, and people within the organization have ideas on how to solve customer problems. Ideas are nothing but hypotheses. In today's way of product development, what we do is we are not validating those hypotheses of our notion of how to solve the customer problem. We jump directly into the solutioning, and then develop a full-blown solution, and then go and put it out to the market. The thought process of, hey, I have a hypothesis that I need to first validate whether my hypothesis is true or not. That thought process is not there in many organizations. So I talked about using lean startup. as a product management principle in product companies, where you have many ideas, customer problem to solve, and then many ideas on how to solve it. Before actually going and building it, do hypothesis validation, that your idea will really solve the customer problem. You could do this by prototyping, developing a small actual live code, do A/B customer testing. It could be as simple as paper prototypes. It could be anything. But the thought process is whatever you're doing, before doing the whole thing, do a small piece of it and do customer validation to know that you are on the right track. The concept we are trying to emphasize here is fail fast. Failure is okay, but failing fast is very important. So even if you lose money, you're losing very less of it. Say you started with 20 ideas, at the end of it, you found out 10 ideas that really solve customer problems, and you go and build those 10 things, and that will deliver value to the customer. So happy customer is value to the organization that makes money. So feeding back into that, the thing about same number of teams previously probably built the same 10 things, but not in the same order or the same validated ones. So some might have passed, so going by industry standards, 6 or 7 might have passed, or 3 to 4 might have failed. Here the probability increases. So, so to say 8 or 9 might pass, and 1 or 2 might fail. So that is the thought process. In some organizations, the failure are very high. In some organizations, it's less, but we are taking an industry average. So, so if you do this in an organization that are a lot of failing products, because it's just game of probability when you're doing something without validation. So that was my talk all about. And then in the talk, I also showed how they, there is a video in Nordstrom Innovation Labs, how they did an iPad app just by taking a bunch of developers and UI people, and then being there for a week, and then talking to customers, and then rapidly developing a small prototype, getting it validated frequently, and within 5 days, getting customer feedback multiple times during a day, they were able to develop an iPad app. That's just an example. There are many ways you can do validation. That was just an example. And I ended the discussion by saying, so when you do a transformation, there are many aspects to it. Solutions IQ has a custom framework, we call it LOBD. So it talks about involving everyone in the organization. So that is business agility, leadership, organization, product management, delivery, and execution. So in a transformation, you need to involve everybody, and that is true business agility. My talk just covered one portion of the organization, but business agility is involving everyone when you are undergoing change. So that is, just what is less is more.
Great. So there are some key takeaways from what I just heard from you, right? So one of them is, if I had to identify top 1 or 2 things that I should be careful about when I am poised to launch a brilliant product, then before that brilliance actually shows, I should be very careful about how I am prepping for it. So one such way would be to test frequently. Failing fast is something that is not anymore just a jargon, but then you have to be true to it and apply it. Some of the models which you did speak about, and I was there at the session, one of them was the lean startup thinking. Business canvas modeling is something that I also have read a lot about, and how people are applying such frameworks into their thinking to be able to create and test features fast. Customer feedback, that's the other thing that you did speak about, and it's brilliant. And the way that we could take customer feedback frequently is it could be as simple as taking a paper prototype and getting it validated, instead of spending weeks and months behind creating something very big and then losing the entire money behind it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So thank you so much, Arun. Whoever has been listening to us right now, I'm sure we learned a lot from what we just heard from Arun. It was a very interesting session that Arun had presented, some very actionable takeaways that I could take out of the session that Arun had done. This was a part of the Business Agility Roadshow that happened in Hyderabad. We have more coming up, so stay tuned to more such information or news events from Business Agility Roadshow. It's been brought to you by Agile Coffee Talk, a Scrum Alliance user group. You can follow us on social media, and you can also look us up on www.agilecoffeetalk.com. Stay tuned, we might just be coming to your city next. Thank you, Arun. Have a good day.
Thank you, Antara.